Before we get started, Mr. Podolny, I see you signed up uh, on the website, but I don't see an indication as to whether you want to speak. Do you want to make a statement or are you just here to listen?
Just listening. Generally, that's not my style.
I didn't hear your response, Mr. Podolny. My question is, are you planning to make a statement or are you just here to listen?
Apologies, Your Honor, just observing.
Thank you. It's 6 o'clock. Before we go on the record, our court reporter, Anthony McLean, is free to interrupt at any time if he needs the spelling of a name or something that should be on the record is inaudible. Mr. McLean, are you ready to go on the record?
Yes, Your Honor, we are on the record.
Thank you. I call case 22E0122, petition of Excelsior Energy Center LLC for an original certificate of public convenience and necessity and for an order providing for lightened regulation. Good evening and welcome. We're here today for a public statement hearing that was noticed on April 25th, 2022. This public statement hearing concerns a petition pursuant to New York State Public Service Law, Section 68, filed by Excelsior Energy Center LLC. Let me give you a little background on the case. Last month, the New York State Board on Electric Generation Siting and the Environment, also called the Siting Board, gave Excelsior authority to construct, own, and operate a solar electric generation facility with a generation capacity of up to 280 megawatts, including a 20 megawatt 4-hour duration energy storage system in the town of Byron, Genesee County. I'll call that facility the project. In making its decision, the Siting Board determined that the project will meet all the statutory requirements for certification under Article 10 of the Public Service Law, including a finding that the project will serve the public interest. Prior to beginning construction on the project, Excelsior must obtain a certificate of public convenience and necessity, also called a CPCN, pursuant to Public Service Law Section 68, which would ensure that Excelsior is properly registered to do business in New York State, that it has received the consent of appropriate municipalities to proceed with the project, and that it is financially capable of doing so. On February 25th of this year, Excelsior filed the petition that is the basis of this case, requesting that the Commission issue an order, first granting a certificate of public convenience and necessity under Public Service Law Section 68, and second, finding that Excelsior is entitled to a lightened regulatory regime as a participant in the wholesale electric market. It is these specific requests that are the issues in this case, not the question of need for or the appropriateness of the project itself. The public statement hearing we're holding tonight is intended for comments on this case. My name is Greg Sayer. I am an administrative law judge with the Department of Public Service. I'm responsible for presiding over this hearing and the development of a complete record in this case. This case, as I've explained, is currently before the Public Service Commission, not the Siting Board, for its consideration. The Commission may decide to approve the petition, reject it, or modify it. Now I'll explain the process that will follow today. The purpose of our hearing is to provide you with an opportunity to tell the Commission your thoughts on this case. The statements you make today will become part of the case record. We have a court reporter joining us who will prepare a transcript of the hearing, which will be included in the official record of this proceeding so that your comments can be considered by the members of the Commission. When it is ready, the transcript will be available for view publicly on the Department of Public Service website. This hearing is not an evidentiary hearing with cross-examination or a question and answer session, but is a forum to hear comments from you. This is not the only opportunity for comment. If you do not speak at today's hearing, but you would like your views included in the record, there are a variety of other ways to comment that were listed in detail in the public notice for today's event and are also on the slide that we're about to show. You can comment by submitting comments on the department's website, by email, by regular mail, or by phone. And if you could please advance to that slide. Regardless of how the comments are submitted, they will be given equal consideration. Comments may be submitted and will be considered throughout the pendency of this proceeding. However, we request, but do not require, that you submit your comments on or before the 1st of June, which is a week from today. If you have registered to make a statement, we ask that you please summarize lengthy written statements orally and submit the full written statement by email or mail. Because a relatively small number of people have signed up to speak, one or two, as a matter of fact, I'm not going to enforce any time limits on your statements, but please be respectful of the people who may be waiting to follow you. At this point, I see on our list one person who has signed up to participate electronically. When you speak, you should only use one audio input and one audio output at your end. Otherwise, we may experience problems with feedback when you're speaking. When we call your name, we will unmute your line, and our Consumer Services Office representative, Xenia Vega, will let you know you're unmuted. Please remember that if you have put your own telephone line or computer on mute, you will also have to unmute your line at your end before you begin to speak. Please speak slowly and clearly so that the court reporter can accurately capture your statement for the record. Let's move right into the statements. I call Deborah Leeton.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Good evening, Judge Sayre and members of the commission. My name is Deborah Leeton, and I'm speaking to you tonight as an owner of Leeview Farms, one of the participating landowners in the Excelsior Solar Project. In the spring of 2018, my family was approached by NextEra Energy to install solar panels on our farm as part of a much larger solar project. After doing some research, we agreed to listen as a representative from NextEra met with us and detailed their vision for the Excelsior Solar Project. From that day in the spring of 2018 until today, NextEra has been nothing but forthcoming, trustworthy, honest, and always willing to answer questions we may have. They have consistently communicated with us throughout this process to ensure that we are comfortable and informed with any decisions that may affect us. We feel that NextEra has gone above and beyond to help our family make this decision, one that we have not regretted. We would respectfully ask that you approve the certificate requested by Excelsior Energy Center. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. We also had a Mr. Tom McHale registered for this session, but he spoke this afternoon at the 1 o'clock hearing. Mr. McHale, if you're on the line, could you either hit *3 or hit the icon for raising your hand if you want to make a further statement at this time? There's no need to repeat what you said at 1 o'clock. I do not believe he's present. That is our list of pre-registered speakers. We have time for people to speak who did not register. I'd like to give anyone on the line an opportunity to speak. So I'll start with people who are participating electronically. You'll need to find an icon on your screen that looks a little bit like a hand. There's a slide showing right now what it looks like and how to find it, usually around the lower right of the screen. You might have to move your cursor around the screen to make it appear. Click on that, and we will find you in the participant list, call your name, and unmute you. So please hit that little hand icon if you are online and wish to make a statement at this time.
I see no raised hands at the moment.
Next, we'll go to people who are participating by telephone, who did not register in advance but would like to speak. If you would like to speak, please press *3 right now on your telephone, and we will locate you and unmute you and give you a chance to make a statement. *3.
Judge, no one has raised their hand.
Last call for statements. If you want to make a statement and you haven't spoken already, please hit the raised hand icon if you're on the computer, or *3 if you are on the telephone.
Judge, I see no raised hands.
In that case, we can wrap this hearing up. I want to remind members of the public that you may submit public comments throughout these proceedings by the other means described earlier and in the notice and in the slide that we're showing right now. The notice of public statement hearing was issued on April 25th, and it can be found on the Commission's website. Again, we request but do not require that you submit comments by June 1st. I thank Ms. Leighton for her comments. I thank Xenia Vega and Joel Wasser from our Consumer Services Office for administering this session and running the slides. Everyone else on the line for being interested, and our court reporter, Anthony McLean. This public statement hearing is now concluded.